Hey guys, we are building Hoth out of Lego. So on this week's episode, we are going to be expanding this corridor in front of the medical bay. Then we're going to twist it out this way and put a room here. I wonder what that room is. So that is what we are doing this week on Lobricks. And do not forget to stick around to the very end of the video because we're going to put some minifigures on the board. But before we get started, make sure you like this video. Make sure you hit subscribe if you want to see more of this Lego goodness. And join us here each and every week for more LEGO Hoth. So with that, let's get down to building. Yeehaw! All right, so first things first, we are going to be building this corridor along here. And we have to leave it open so we can see into the medical bay from this side of the MOC. And we're going to do it very similar to what we did with the Wampa cave. Still shows a little bit of a cutaway looking through the snow inside. So we're going to do the exact same thing over here. So let's get to it. All right, so like we showed down at the Wampa cave, we want to build out our cutaway here and move upwards so it looks like there's a hole cut into the snow. So from the bottom, and actually I'm going to use these little striped slotted 2x2 bricks and build upwards, and then I'm going to fill in here with 1x1s. Actually, do that first. So we're going to build up to the top so we can connect the corridor over here to this one. All right. Now, as we move across, I'm going to fill in the open part with just tile pieces. So we close out these studs, just like we did on the outside along here. And then the other thing we're going to do on the top, which I'll just show you as an example, is we're going to open it the other way using the inverted bricks. Something along the lines of this. So I am going to cut over to hyperlapse mode, build this across. We're also going to have probably a divider right here so it looks like a cool cutaway. So I'll build up right around here to divide the two halves. This is kind of more the diagnostic area. And over here is where Luke is getting treated by the robot, by the medical droid. All right, so let's get to it. All right, so here is the cutaway into the medical bay. I know there is a door that probably enters into the medical bay. I'm just going to imagine it was right around here because we want to be able to see into it, and a door just gets in the way. So now we have to finish the rest of this corridor piece, which is the groundwork up to here. And then we're going to be building a new section which actually curves this way. So for starters, let's build the front part of the corridor and the floor. All right, for the front here, we have to build this up one stud length and then cover with tile pieces. Then the middle part we need to fill in. Underneath, it doesn't matter what color it is. We're going to fill it in with one layer of plates and our flooring and greeble. Greeble. Let's cut back over to hyperlapse mode as I fill in the foundation of this corridor floor. Corridor floor, say that 5 times real fast. All right, as I start the corridor floor, we have to remember down at this end, we are going to be curving the corridor to the right. So I had to put these two little hinge pieces right at the end. This one can fit in 2x2 right there. This one I have to stick out. So we're gonna have to go under there just because it won't fit. The hinge won't completely fit up against there. And then we're gonna be building the turn in the corridor heading this way. And we'll show you how we're gonna fill that in a minute. But for now, let's detail out the floor. Okay, and finally for this corridor, I'm going to put one piece of greeble, and it's going to be a heating unit. And I'm going to put it on this side, kind of on the outside, knowing that there actually should be a wall right here, but it's kind of a cutaway, so you're watching inside. Now that we have the corridor complete, I'm going to turn it over to Assistant as he builds the Wampa room.
Okay, so what we want to do here is we want to build a corridor in this general area. So we're going to need to do a few things. First thing I want to do is we have to make this kind of a weird, funky shape that's hard to do with the LEGO system. And the reason why is because, you know, diagonals are hard. So I kind of want it to bring it in like this and then turn out towards here, if that makes sense. So how I'm going to do that is with the use of this little helpful little piece here. We're just going to stick it on right there. And then should be able to use something like that. And now what we have is the ability to build on an angle. So the first thing I want to do is build a wall section that kind of comes out a little bit to here, and then we have to add a door, and then maybe a little bit more. We'll see. We're gonna figure it out here. But let's get that first wall section built for our Wampa Cave room area. Okay, so since I want to give the wall some texture, what I went ahead and did here was I put some pins into hold pieces here, and then we can take some tile pieces and click it on like so, and boom, now we've got ourselves a pretty interesting looking wall. We can add that to our post here, and there we go. Now we have our first section of angled wall, which looks really, really good. And if you want to do something like this technique called snotting, when you put pieces on its side. Pretty good example of that if you just use these Technic pins and then snap something on there like so, and boom, you've got some detail. So the next thing we want to do is build ourselves a door, and I do want to give some detail to the inside of this door here, so I'm going to give it an attempt on making it here. But first thing we need is an actual place to hook the door onto, so I'm just going to add on another piece there, and we got a starting point right there. So let's try to construct our door. All right, so as far as the door goes, I wanted to use the same technique, and we are actually not going to see the inside of our hallway here. So it's not necessarily too important to detail the inside, but like you can see right there, I used a little bit because it will be pretty hard to see down this hallway when you actually are looking at it coming from this angle. So what's around this corner doesn't really matter, but you know us, we like to put details in, and this is our Hoth MOC. So we got to step up our game. So this is going to be our inside of our wall here, and how I'm going to do that is we're just going to add some detail onto this door so it looks like, you know, it has some greebling on the inside there, so it doesn't look too bad. And then on the other side, we flip it over, I added this hazmat sign, of course, with our Wampa being the hazmat, and then I'm going to add this little panel here. It's an older style panel and has a light. So that's going to be our door here. So I'm just going to add that in, and I'm actually going to put on a piece so we can continue constructing our wall here. Add that on like so, and boom, now we have a door and a wall segment here on a diagonal, which is not the easy task to do in LEGO. And of course, now we have to figure out a way to kind of extend it a little bit and then start bending it back towards this way. So we are going to have to use our old pal once again, this guy right here, this piece, this bendy boo one, which allows us to do that. All right, so for this 4x4 wall, I wanted to have a similar design to this. So I'm going to use 2 snot bricks right there. And then since I do want to give some detail on the inside, I am going to use this right here, which uses 4 pieces in the center, and then these studs in here, so we can have a panel on this side. And if we flip it over to the back, panel on that side, which is lovely. And since we want our wall to start going this way, we're actually going to put on our panel like it's going that way, so we can actually rotate it in that direction. So there we go. Now that we have that, we can see our wall has bent in and then needs to go this way. So let's build our final wall segment that goes that direction. Okie doke. So I just made a copy of this wall right here. Right here. So we have the exact same wall piece here. And if we add on our little bit right there, we are gonna have to add some clearance because if you know, if we try to put this up against and use that piece, it's not gonna work. So I'm gonna add in a flat piece right there so we actually can get this thing to snug up properly. And we gotta go along and kind of reinforce things here. So there we go. Reinforce that top level. And boom. That looks pretty good. So we've got our wall here. I am going to extend this out just a little bit more. Maybe build another one of these real fast so we can get the complete look. So, all right, and to just show you guys how easy this technique is to actually do is all I did was use these hold Technic pieces with blocks in the middle, put some tiles on there, and just like so, you can snap them into place. And you can see that I actually have tiles on both sides there, so I can flip around and come around to the other side over here. Get the upside down view, and you can see, boom! We have them on both sides there. And it is a very easy technique to use when you want to get some wall textures here. And I think this technique worked very well here because as you can see, it looks like a nice pen they're keeping the Wampa in, and it's extremely easy to do. So if you're looking for a nice way to make some textured walls, there you go, there you have it. But anyway, that's it for me for this episode. I'm actually gonna hand it over to Leaky. He's got some details and some figures he'd like to put in here.
All right, thanks, assistant. And now we have the complete corridor going all the way down. And we're going to explain at the end why we're doing the inside instead of the outside of the deleted scene of the Wampa pen. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. But for now, I have to finish the flooring in this room. And it's not going to be as detailed as the flooring in the hallway, because this is more just like a storage closet. I'm going to put down, because the rebels are not totally inhumane, they are going to put some floor plates so the Wampa doesn't get his feet cold, even though you know, he lives out in the snow, so it's kind of dumb. But all of the rooms, the storage rooms, have their little different plating that they put down, maybe for when they store things or people have to walk around in here. I'll put one.
Again, this is not getting a lot of foot traffic. You got to think like our hallways are going to have people walking up and down them constantly. Where
this is true.
It's just going to have the Wampa maybe standing around. He will move around in there, so there will be some kerfuffle, but you know, it's not going to be nearly as bad.
This was probably a storage area before. I don't think they built this for Wampa storage.
No, it probably was not the original designer's intent.
The original intent was Wampa storage. Well, maybe, you know, if you want meat and you're on Hoth, you pretty much got Tauntauns or Wampas. So this could be like, you know, like their meat locker. Like, yes. Like assistant, I think I've told them that you work at a pizza place. Do you have like a freezer where you keep like pepperonis and such?
And dead Wampas?
And dead Wampas?
We do. In fact, the owner of said pizza place, right, you know, you just gotta, I've worked at many at this point in time. There's usually a freezer in the back. He usually keeps a bunch of weird crap back there. Like his hunting, whatever he was hunting, like pheasants.
His hunting prey?
Yeah, right next to the pizza dough.
Oh, delicious.
Maybe he's like, oh, my wife kicked me out of my house, so he might be living in there depending on the week. It's real interesting. Basically, you can find whatever you want in these freezers, including Wampas. So it's not out of the ordinary.
Not unheard of. All right, I'm just gonna top the rest of this room, and then I think we are ready for the minifigures. So assistant, I'm sure you've seen the Greeble monster.
Greeble.
Oh yes.
Yep, so I got some Greeble. So since this is a Wampa room, they're not, again, like I said, the Rebels are not complete jerks. They're gonna give the Wampa a little heater and then a little bin with some bones in it, so he has something to eat while he's in here. So it fits. So there, see, it's a nice little Wampa habitat. So are we ready, assistant, to put some minifigs down?
I think so.
So before we do that, I wanted to talk about why we did the corridor this way, why we have it facing outside. Because if you look at the scene, the deleted scene, they are on the other side. And C-3PO, pretend this is on the other side, he walks up, the snowtroopers are coming, he rips the Wampa hazmat sign off, and then he bolts. And then when the snowtrooper comes up, hits the door opens, Wampa grabs the snowtrooper, pulls him in the door. Well, that happens on the other side of the wall, but there's a problem.
Yes, there is a problem. There is going to be a mountain here. So if you can imagine, when we look at our medical bay, this is the only side of access we're gonna have for viewing. So we needed it to be right here because it can't be right here because there's going to be a mountain here. So we're actually gonna have this cutout here so you can view it.
So this is gonna be a wall built up right here white, and you're not gonna be able to see back in here, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and we will eventually add a wall right here, another inner wall, and then it probably is gonna cut out. That's why we did add some detail on the inside here. But the only way you're gonna be able to see that is through these cut-ins right in here. And that's also why we have cut-ins to the medical bay, because again, you're not going to be able to view in from this side. This is the only way, the only place where you're gonna be able to view all of these scenes along here. So that's really where this stuff comes from. And I forget, is C-3PO, where is
Oh, he's getting chastised. He's like facing Princess Leia. She's like, you got my clothes all wet, you dummy. And he's like, yo, it's R2-D2, I'm perfect.
Yes, something like that.
Yep, and then the other access point, as we've said before, is from the front.
Yeah, so we will be able to see in through here and the rest of our beautiful base. Because this will be open, but there will be a mountain that curves around top into our trench area right here. So as you can see, we needed to put it right here. And I think it turned out pretty good. I do like the way it looks.
Looks very cool.
It looks really good.
One last question before we put our minifigures down. Does this mean we are finally ready for the mountains?
Oh, unfortunately, yes. I'm not looking forward to them. This thing is going to be I'm going to have to contact the Army Corps of Engineers. It's going to be a big project. Well, we do have this thing hanging from the ceiling via 2 fishing lines. So if we can do that, I guess we can do anything.
So that pretty much does it for the build portion of this week's video. So now it's time to layer minifigures. And as we stated earlier, this is a Wampa habitat. So we have to put our second Wampa down. And
It's going to bring our Wampa count to 2, by the way.
That's right.
If you haven't seen our Wampa Cave builds, it was like kind of a mini series within this series, the Wampa Cave. I really like the way it turned out, so you should definitely check it out if you haven't been following along.
Yeah, so there's the Wampa. And you know what we don't have, assistant?
What's that?
We don't have a snowtrooper yet on the board.
We don't. That is a good point. There's not a single snowtrooper outside in the elements. They're all hidden within AT-ATs and whatnot.
Yep. And we are going to have other snowtroopers within the base. But today, we are going to put our very first snowtrooper. But he's not going to be whole.
Well, C-3PO did him dirty by turning that to this.
So, and he kind of got screwed over by his buddies.
Yeah, that doesn't look healthy. I'm not a doctor or anything.
So I don't think the Wampa ate all of them though. So he's not just a head. So let's put his body there. Here's an arm with a gun on it.
And it wouldn't be a LEGO Star Wars MOC without a little tiny bit. Oh dear, I've dropped his arm. Without a little tiny bit of realism. Over here at Lobricks, we like our realism. You know how we roll. So, you know.
Pools of blood. You know, and I was saying that our viewers are pretty bloodthirsty. They wanted to see, like, you know, dead rebel troopers all over the battlefield, and so this is going to be our gory.
Are you guys finally happy?
Yeah, are you happy? We all have this gore, all this horrific snow trooper gore.
Oh dear, his arm is just appendages flying everywhere.
The Wampa just did a number on this guy.
You notice all of his parts are still there. He just did it for the kill.
Yeah.
He was not even in it for anything.
No, well that's because the rebels gave him a little food.
And I mean, let's be honest, he's a Wampa. He's probably got beef with the Empire. Who doesn't?
Oh yeah, everyone does.
Everyone does. They don't like him. You see, you just don't like them. They're bad. No good. Dirty people.
That's just gross.
Well, anyway, guys, I hope you did enjoy today, and we finally got this corridor done. And I think it looks really good, so this is gonna be our access viewing point for this side of the MOC, and of course our Wampa containment cell and our hallway. We're fine additions, and we do finally have a snow trooper despite his state. But that's actually going to do it for the build portion of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. We have a lot of cool things coming, like mountain building. Once we start that, it's going to be pretty brutal. It's going to be a lot of repetitive action. But it's still going to be a good time. We got a lot of stuff to mix in. I mean, hey, we still got 2 pretty cool scenes over there. Ghost Obi-Wan, anyone? Anyone ripping open a Wampa and putting Luke inside to keep warm? Ooh, really exciting. Oh yeah, Tauntaun. My apologies, Star Wars fanatics. But anyway, guys, there's a lot of cool stuff coming. We've got a lot of cool minifigures that have been coming in the mail. I've been looking at some of them like, oh my gosh, Ghost Obi-Wan. But anyway, that's besides the point. I hope you guys enjoyed today, and that's going to do it for this episode.
So I know we haven't started the mountain yet, but today was pretty cool. You got a Wampa, you got a disgusting, disemboweled trooper just ripped all to pieces, and with blood, and you guys have been asking for that. You guys worry me sometimes. But anyways, pretty cool episode, and don't forget, every Wednesday right here, we're doing Star Wars LEGO Hoth. On Fridays, we do our fun videos, and on Mondays, we do our unboxings. Don't forget to check out our Discord server. You can also catch us on Instagram. I am Leaky Trooper. We will see you guys next time. I am out of here, and bye.